What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Not So Pro Football Talk. We're back at it again, and finally, what a fun weekend! Am I right? Starting Thursday all the way to Saturday, it's been super fun. Just because we finally got some NFL content, we got some big NFL content, not just drama, not just Antonio Brown high off of his mind say he joined a team. We got the draft. We got new players coming into the NFL, going to shake up some teams, make teams great, make fantasy teams either great or not so great, right? But this is our show, Not So Pro Football Talk. So, welcome. Let's talk about post draft. First of all, Reed, how did you feel about the Green Bay Packers draft?
I felt overall happy with it.
Okay.
I wanted us to go offensively in the first round, but we went heavy in the second round and third round, drafting multiple offensive players, players you can build and help Jordan Love grow. And I feel like it was overall a good draft class for us. The only thing I wasn't a fan of is us not really getting a safety. It's one of our weakest points on our team, and we really did not address it in the draft. So very, very curious that they feel happy and good enough to move forward with our current guys. That was my only big question mark in my opinion for the Packers draft.
Okay, I'm gonna get a lot of hate after this comment, but honestly, I was more intrigued to watching the NFL draft than I was watching the NBA playoffs. Okay, so attack me if you want, but that's just how I feel. I'm an NFL guy, right? And that's because I used to love the NFL. I mean, the NBA. I don't have that love as much anymore. Hello, Nestor. Appreciate you joining us here live. But Reed, I wanted to text you immediately. I think it was day two. I was like, "Hey, are you gonna get a Reed jersey?" Because they drafted a guy with his last
Yes.
name Reed. I thought that was super cool.
I think his first name is Jerron Reed, I think it is, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I'm definitely going to get a Reed jersey. As long as he starts playing, I'll wait a little bit, see how he does in training camp, etc. But definitely excited about that. I definitely would probably think about getting a Reed jersey.
Now, was he a wide receiver or a corner?
Wide
It
receiver.
was a wide receiver, right?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
imagine if he pans out, you're gonna have a wide receiver room with Romeo Dubes, Christian Watson, and then Reed.
Yep.
That would be pretty cool. Youngsters,
Very,
man.
very, very excited about the future. We have to see how it pans out, but I think we're potentially going to be decent in a few years. Not this year.
Correct. Yeah, totally understandable. But no, that's awesome. I didn't have too much to get excited for, but you know what? The Niners picked up two Michigan guys, and if y'all don't know, I'm a big Michigan fan. So they got the best kicker in college, which is Moody. And unfortunately, we're saying goodbye to Gold. I can't say good as Gold anymore, as I always do, but he pisses me off in the playoffs. All I can say is whenever he makes a kick, my new saying is, now that's a mood. So it doesn't quite hit
Okay.
because Gold, 49ers striking Gold doesn't hit. But they also got Bell, the wide receiver, who's just a phenomenal athletic specimen in the wide receiver position for college. And I thought it was quite a steal. We got him in the 6th round. I think he'll do excellent behind Jawan Jennings being that 4th-string guy on that rotation, fighting with Danny Gray. But enough about the Niners. Today, we are talking about the biggest surprises in the draft. This year was super fun to watch because there's so much movement. There's a lot of trades, especially in the top 10. It was just all over the place. I believe we had, what was it, 2 or 3 trades in the top 10?
I think there was like 3 trades in the top 10.
3 trades in the top 10. That's absolutely insane. And the first one we're going to talk about are the Houston Texans. Now, way to go about making a statement. Hey, we got a new head coach. We're going to do something new. We're going to do things our way. We're going to be aggressive because we know it's going to be a long process that we're going to wait 5 years, 10 years from now to, or not, sorry, not 10 years, but being a little over dramatic there. I just don't
Three to
see
four.
Houston
3 to 4.
3 to 4 years to actually become relevant in that playoff scenario. They're saying, hey, we're going to be as aggressive as we can be. So we have the Houston Texans trading with the Arizona Cardinals right after they had the 2nd overall pick and picking up their franchise quarterback, CJ Stroud, which a lot of people lost their hopes on, but they see CJ Stroud as an athletic guy that is going to be their franchise QB. And I'm excited to see what he does, right? But then they trade the Arizona Cardinals for the 3rd overall pick, and they get themselves Will Anderson, an aggressive, outstanding defensive player. And with D'Amico Ryans with his defensive mind, It's going to be great. I think it's going to be a great fit for him. He's a good guy off the field as well. What do you think about this trade, Reed?
It was very, very aggressive. I was not expecting it. I knew there was a very good chance a certain team was going to trade up into that spot, whether they were quarterback hungry and wanted to beat the Colts, or just wanted the best defensive player in the draft. And the Texans, they came out of nowhere, really. The only person that maybe predicted it was Ian Rappaport, like a long time ago, predicting that they would go back into the top 10, but not in the top 3, not in the third pick. And they said, hey, we don't know exactly what we want to do with this number 2 overall pick, so let's go ahead and get both guys. They were either thinking CJ Stroud or Will Anderson, and they said, why not both? Why not both? And they got them both. It was very aggressive, but I think it can definitely pay off for them in the long run. You did have to give up some stuff to be able to get that player, but I think it was a good thing for you overall.
So this is what they had to give up, right? So the Cardinals get the 12th overall pick, the 33rd pick, a first rounder in 2024 and a third rounder in 2024. The Texans get the 3rd overall pick and a 105. For me, this is great news for the Arizona Cardinals. I'm not a Cardinals fan whatsoever, as y'all could tell. I'm rocking the Niners gear, so I don't root for the Cardinals at all, right? But this is a smart move by the organization, because I'm not going to hate just because I don't like the team. This is a very smart move for them. This is what we wanted them to do. We talked about the Arizona Cardinals. Hey, trade back. You don't need that 3rd overall pick. You are clearly rebuilding. You have an overpaid QB. You are like in turmoil. You need to figure things out. And this is exactly they struck gold here. They struck gold by moving down, getting the 12th overall pick instead of the 3rd, and then on top of that, they get the 33, a first rounder in 2024, and a 3rd rounder in 2024. Now remember, this is the Texans, huh?
Great trade.
It is a great trade, because look at the Texans. Do you really expect them to have one hell of a season next year? Nope. No, you don't. So more than likely, they're going to have a pretty darn good pick in the first round next year. So this is awesome for the Cardinals. Hopefully, they just draft absolutely the bust of the century. But good move for the organization. And you know what? I'm still going to applaud the Houston Texans, because, hey, they need to be aggressive. They need to make a standpoint. They've never had any success going for them. Maybe a sliver when that guy who we're not going to name on the show had good years, right? So we saw that sliver of chance, but they lost their 2 best players in franchise history, D Hop and JJ Watt. So that should say something about the organization and the other guy. So hopefully this shakes things up. They go to a new direction. They got their franchise QB. They got a stud, an absolute stud in defense. We'll see what happens. But I don't know. Next year, I'm predicting them to win at least, 5 to 6 games.
5 to 6?
5 to 6 games, yeah.
I have them at 3 to 4.
3 to 4. I'm not going to go too harsh on them, just because I think a lot of teams next season are on that figure it out stage. It's new, right? Besides the teams that everyone talks about, like the Kansas City Chiefs, the Buffalo Bills, the Philadelphia Eagles, people are like, okay, those teams, they got it, right? The Cincinnati Bengals. There's a lot of teams that still need to figure it out, like the Patriots, right? They need to figure it out. What are they going to do? What are they going to look like? Even the New York Jets, as good as we want to say that they're going to be, especially with Aaron Rodgers joining the team, what is he going to look like? Right? Are they going to look like Tom Brady and go after a ring? Or are they going to look like Carson Wentz when he went out there to Colts? And I'm not comparing Carson Wentz to Aaron Rodgers whatsoever. Night and day difference. The Ravens, you have a new team going on there. You have OBJ. You sign Lamar to a long-term deal. But there is some kind of like backlash there. There's some hatred. So just the curiosity of what's going to happen, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're going to win 5 to 6 games. But as we spoke about earlier, the Philadelphia Eagles, they also made a huge move, right? So they made a trade. They traded up right above the Chicago Bears?
Yes.
Yeah, they traded right above the Chicago Bears to pick up what everyone is saying, the biggest steal in the NFL draft. They picked up Jalen Carter. So there's a lot of jokes saying, "Hey, the Philadelphia Eagles, they need to be they're changing their mascot to a bulldog with wings." I think it's super funny, but I know I see you shaking your head. I think it's super funny, but they ended up, drafting three guys from Georgia, and
Mhm.
that's a lot. And to top it off, they also got DeAndre Swift, which we will talk about earlier. And if y'all do not know, Swift, he went to college Georgia. So I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, I got a little picture for you guys just to show how everyone's grading them as an A plus just because you're drafting everyone from Georgia, the championship team, which is no knock on them. These guys are the real deal.
Mhm.
But Jalen Carter, a lot of people say this is a steal because he almost dropped out of the top 10. Now I had him going late top 10, but there's that question: how is he going to be outside the field? What is he going to be like? Is he going to have issues? Is he going to clean up his act? We don't know. He's definitely a top talent, if not the top defensive talent coming out of this draft. But how consistent can he be? How clean can he be? What are your thoughts here, Reed? I'm very curious.
Yeah, I definitely we can all agree Jalen Carter has the talent to be a top defensive player in this league. If he keeps it off the field issues completely clean, he's gonna have a absolutely incredible career. But if he makes a mess up here and there, he gets suspended. This is gonna be a curse upon the Eagles. They're gonna regret this for years to come about how they messed up the pick. Everybody was the warning signs were all over the place. You decided to ignore them and said, hey, we can fix this person. We can make him a star in this league. I want to give the benefit of the doubt to Jalen Carter. I think he's going to have a great career, especially with the Eagles, who have a great defensive front, and I think they're going to continue to have that. Maybe not as good as last year, but they're going to have a good one. But I'm going to give the benefit of doubt to Jalen Carter. I think he's going to have a great career, and I think this is a great pick for the Eagles.
Now, I like what you said. They're not going to be as good as last year. A lot of people are going to disagree with you there because I saw countless tweets saying, wow, the Eagles did it again. They draft Jalen Carter. How can they keep on getting away with this? Who's going to stop this defense? This defense is unstoppable. Jalen Carter got added on to a already stacked team. Did everyone forget who the Eagles lost? I mean, they lost a
Yeah,
lot
they
of
lost
players.
people.
Yes. And remember, one of their biggest losses was Hassan Reddick, who plays Jalen Carter's position. Hassan Reddick was their best defensive end, in my personal opinion, and a lot of opinions as well. So those are some huge shoes to fill. As great as Jalen Carter is, I don't think he's okay, let me step in. That's it. We're sealed. That's clean slate. We replaced. We filled in the gap. Nuh-uh. He's still a rookie. He still has a lot to learn. He ain't no Nick Bosa. All right. So he is going to learn a lot. He's still going to be great. He's going to do some great things. But I don't want people to. I don't like hearing saying that the Eagles defense just got that much better. It didn't get that much better. It got good. It's still good. Still great, I would say. But let's remember what happened during this offseason. That's all I'm going to ask. That's all I'm going to ask.
Sure, I
Sorry, I
agree. I
get carried
agree.
away. Maybe there's a little bit of hatred with me with the NFC Championship. Should have been the Niners. But that's just the story of my life, sadly, as a Niners fan. But as I said previously, they also got another Georgia player, right? He's been in the NFL. They got DeAndre Swift. How shocking was it for you that the Detroit Lions went ahead and traded Swift after they traded Williams? How crazy is that?
Well, first of all, they didn't trade Williams. They just
Oh,
didn't
they lost
re-sign
in
him.
free agency.
Yeah, they lost him in free agency to the Saints. Um, but yeah, I was very surprised by it. I didn't think DeAndre Swift was a running back that you needed to give up on and say, hey, we have to trade this away. We got to regroup, especially draft a running back in the first round. I just didn't see that in my eyes. I think he wasn't perfect by any means, which is why Williams had such a great year because of how DeAndre Swift just wasn't living up to who he can be. Because I think he's a great talent. But I was very, very surprised. I don't agree with the Lions in their thinking of this. It may come out to be great for them. They got I think it's the running back from Alabama, right? So
They
it's,
got the running back from Alabama. Yes, sir.
I don't know his name off the top of my head, but they drafted him. They still have David Montgomery, who they signed in free agency to try to make up for Jamal Williams leaving. But I just see this as a step back for them, and that's because I think very highly of the Lions roster, because I do think they are still, even with this, the best roster in the NFC North. I think they're the best team moving forward. But I just don't agree with this. You didn't. I don't believe running backs are worth that much draft stock. But I also don't think you got a whole lot back for him. I didn't like the trade, didn't like the decision, but I don't know everything that the Detroit Lions know about DeAndre Swift. So they made the best decision with the knowledge they have. So maybe I'm wrong here.
I definitely agree with you that it was definitely a reach. I thought it was a reach, which is one of the biggest surprises to me when huge reach when the Atlanta Falcons got Bijan Robinson with the 8th overall pick, which kind of forced the Lions' hand, in my opinion, to go out there and get a running back from Alabama. It's a huge reach. And when they came out and talked in the first day draft interview, the offensive coordinator came out and said, "Hey, we had this guy on our minds this whole time, just to be able to pick him because of where he fell, kind of like landed on our laps." I don't agree with that. I don't agree that he landed on your lap, because you definitely reached. I don't think anyone else was going to pick him that early. If that was your goal for this entire draft, dude, why not trade back? Even if it's just one spot, why not trade back 2 spots? Why not trade back for a bag of chips? Because you could get something, and I can almost guarantee that guy is going to be there, right? It's like you said, Reed. It's definitely a reach for these running backs, and how big of an impact is he going to make? Because the Lions, they do have David Montgomery. They got him off of free agency, so we're like, okay, so we're going to see Swift and Montgomery now, and also in the post draft interview, he said, as of now, Swift is still in our roster, so he's still going to be fighting for that spot. That was immediately after the first day draft. And from the way he was talking, the facial expressions, the body language, I'm like, oh, dude, Swift is in trouble. They don't want him there anymore. They gave up on him. They gave up.
Yep.
That's it. They have no trust on him, so they went ahead, hey, let's go get ourselves a running back. Who's going to be crazy enough to draft Bijan Robinson in the first 10 picks? Well, guess what? The Atlanta Falcons were. So they ended up getting Jahmyr Gibbs from Alabama, who is also a phenomenal running back, but not 12th overall pick. Not 12th overall.
No, I definitely agree with you, AJ, what you're saying, that they should have traded back. I think they should have taken a different player, in my opinion, right there, and then traded back into the first if you felt like he was going to go in the late first, or traded up in the early second and drafted this guy. You could have made a lot of different decisions and still got on this player if you were that much sold on him. There's just so many different ways you could have gone about this than picking him at number 12.
Correct. So staying on, also on this topic, I want to pause real quick. A little fantasy, perspective on this is I'm really excited about Gibbs. I think Gibbs is going to play a huge part in this offense, but not right away. I do feel like he is going to have to sit behind Montgomery for at least 5 to 6 games. Sit behind him, get a little bit more reps, more reps until he gets comfortable in that offense. I think he's really going to make an impact there. But again, a lot of it has to do with offseason, but Gibbs will be an excellent guy to pick up somewhere around the 6th or 7th round of your fantasy football draft. He's going to be an absolute steal. He's going to be like a Ramondre Stevenson type player. He's a go-to. I like Montgomery. He's a stud, but he's up there in age, and the Lions are trying to mold their future. And now's the time to do it. Now that who is it? Is it King Aaron or is it Dark Aaron that left?
Dark Aaron left. King
Anti-Aaron. Anti-Aaron.
Aaron is he left. He did not like the Packers apparently. Whatever.
Really? What's the deets on that?
No, the Packers were shopping him, listening to trade offers, and then he decided to leave.
Oh, messy. But yeah, reaching for running backs, the Lions definitely did. But would you call the Atlanta Falcons getting Bijan Robinson in the 8th a reach?
I predicted him to go in the top 10. I didn't think he was go number 8, but I did hear a little bit that the Falcons were interested in him, so I kind of saw it a little bit, but I just didn't see it fully happening right there and there. If he wasn't picked there, I think he goes in the next 5 picks, in my opinion. He definitely goes in the top 15, 100%, just because people thought that highly of him.
Yeah, I felt like it's a yes or no, right? I'm 50-50 about it. I love what the Atlanta Falcons were doing during the offseason. I felt like they had a lot of key positions that they need to fill out before they address the running back position, such as, some offensive linemen, maybe get some help in the wide receiver position. I know they got a stud wide receiver, but one is just not enough. And I don't care what you say about Kyle Pitts. He's a tight end. Tight end is a tight end. And then maybe some trench help in the defense, just those are some key positions that you could add and help out. But Bijan Robinson, supposedly this guy is like the next dude, right? When it comes to running backs, coming out from the University of Texas. And also growing up, he was an Atlanta Falcons fan. He tweeted out a picture of him in an Atlanta Falcons jersey, and it was written, the story was written. I think that's what he said. So he wanted to go with the Atlanta Falcons. So that's always a huge plus that a star gets drafted to the team where he wants to go. So he's going to play harder just naturally. So this is super fun to watch. And I do feel like he'll make a huge difference. I just really want to know what they're going to be doing with Tyler Algier, because Tyler Algier, he had to sit behind CMC for a good while at the Carolina. No, was it the Panthers or the Titans? I can't remember who it was. He either sat behind CMC or sat behind Derrick Henry. Either of those guys are studs, so he had to sit behind someone. He finally gets a shot out there at Atlanta. Cordero Patterson goes down. Algier plays one hell of a game, and he looks like he could be, a solidified starter in that team. And now the Falcons go out and get Bijan Robinson. Does it look good for him? It doesn't. I feel like this is going to be a switch. I think this one is a Rhamondre Stevenson type player or scenario. You have Rhamondre Stevenson and Harris out there in Patriots, and they kept 50-50, and slowly Stevenson started getting more. I know Harris was dealing with injuries, but that was Stevenson's job. I called it at the beginning of the season. It was his job, and that's going to be Bijan Robinson this year. That's going to be his job. And Algier, it's unfortunate because I feel like that guy has fought his whole NFL career so far, and he's proven a lot. And I hope he gets a shot to actually start, if not with the Falcons, at least with another team.
I like that.
So that was another big shocker. I would say it is a reach, but good for the Falcons. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do this upcoming season, just because they added so many pieces and that division is so weak. It did get a little better with Derek Carr going to the Saints, but I'm not entirely convinced. But yeah, the Falcons, they need to see what's up with the quarterback position. I don't think Ritter's it from what we've seen so far last season. He has some improvement to do, and it's natural. He was a rookie. Let's see how they run things. But let's go to one of our last, if not our last, biggest surprise from the NFL draft, which is the one everyone's talking about. Everyone, the banana eater himself, Will Levis. Will Levis drops out of the first round and gets drafted in the second round, with the Tennessee Titans moving up to get him. Now, everyone was talking about Will Levis, even us. We were even talking about Will Levis going top 10 in the draft. That didn't happen. You saw his girlfriend getting all pissed off. Allegedly, his girlfriend left him for not going to the top 10. Allegedly, his girlfriend left him. And I kind of believe it. I mean, you really think that someone like that is going to date someone who eats bananas with the peel.
I saw someone like dub over her voice in like a video, and they like kind of like voiced over. It's like, is Bryce available?
Oh my gosh, what a
Yeah.
troll! That's horrible. But you know what? I know Will Levis. He was like, "I'm not gonna go out there. I'm not gonna go on the second day of the draft. I'm gonna stay home." I get it. You know, he's playing with a chip on his shoulder now.
Hmm.
He was expected to go top 10, and it didn't happen. But hey, that's okay. A team still wanted you. Go play. Go play for that team. And also, I was gonna say, supposedly I'm going to say supposedly because we have evidence. So if you want to look it up, go look it up. Teams were turned off from Will Levis during the interview process. So when the whole combine was going on, when you could see how far they could throw, when they go virtual or face to face contact with other teams, saying, "Hey, how are you doing? What's your personality like? How's your work ethic? How's your chemistry with teammates?" Supposedly, these teams were turned off by Will Levis, saying that he's just another average guy that could throw the ball. So maybe he was eating a banana during the interview. I'm not too sure. That would turn me off. It definitely would. Who does that? I'm gonna say it every time I talk about this guy for the rest of his career, right? But who does that? That's kind of weird. But there's nothing interesting about him. People would rather take, I think this was the biggest risk with Anthony Richardson, quarterback from Florida. He could be the biggest boom, or he could also be the biggest bust, right? But you don't know. But he's a freak of nature. He's an insane athlete. He reminds me like an RG3 or somewhat of a little bit of an upgrade of Jameis Winston. But you don't know. With Will Levis, all I see is probably a Mac Jones that didn't have all-star wide receivers. Nothing really crazy about him. Not a guy that could lead you to a team. Now I could bite myself. I could bite my tongue right now because 3 years from now we could definitely see him leading the Titans to the playoffs. But one of the most surprising things was that Mike Vrabel came out and said, "Oh, well, Levis, that guy, the guy that we got in the second round, he's our third string back." He's our third string back. Ryan Tannehill's our starter, which is normal. I agree with that, right? You get your vets, let him start, let him prove himself, allow him to go get paid somewhere else, continue to teach these young guys. But number two is Malik Willis. Malik Willis, it is Malik Willis. My head's all
Yeah.
mixed up right now. Malik Willis, the guy who they drafted last year, I believe, in the second round as well. He's our second string, but Malik also has a chance to become the starter to fight that position. But Will Levis will be the third string guy. I don't know exactly how I feel about that. Personally, I think they should do what a lot of teams should do. What's up, Reed? I see a little.
No, go ahead, keep your thought, and then I'll respond.
I think I should do what some of these teams do when they have multiple quarterbacks in the room. The Niners did it this one year where they traveled with that 53-man roster. When they travel with the team, they got to have a certain amount of players. They'll travel with three quarterbacks. You know, very minimal teams do that, and other teams travel with two. I think they should do that with Will Levis, and I don't think they should have position rankings. Uh, I I don't really think there is some, but I think that's something that Vrabel has to say in order for them to seem professional in a certain way. I think it's just something that coach has to say, right? I think Levis has an excellent chance to going out there and starting for the Tennessee Titans.
I'm a little confused by you being so against this, honestly. I think this is a great response from Vrabel. It's exactly how it should be. Will Levis has the least amount of experience. Unless he proves himself during training camp, he should be the quarterback number three. And I think they're definitely going to go into the 53-man roster with those three quarterbacks because they put one of them on the practice squad. Then another team has the chance to pick them up, which they're not going to allow. So they're definitely going to go into the unless they cut Ryan Tannehill before the season, which I don't see happening. But they're definitely going to go in this 53-man roster that to start the season with three quarterbacks, in my opinion, right now. But yeah, I think it's exactly how he should respond and exactly how it should be. There's a hierarchy. It's Ryan Tannehill. Yeah, he's not the best. We know who he is already. He's not going to get any better, but he has the most experience. He knows how to lead a team. He knows how to be a leader. He knows how to win games. Malik Willis, they tried him out a little bit last year. I don't remember it being that great, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to get a shot again, but he's going to have to beat Will Levis in camp. And then Will Levis, you got to show you're more than just a thrower. Obviously, a lot of teams passed on you because they didn't like your personality, most likely. And you got to show them, hey, I can go into this locker room. I can be a leader. I can learn also. And I can be a franchise guy moving forward. I think this is a great response from Vrabel. How exactly how it should be moving forward.
Okay, so like you said, you didn't quite agree with what I said, which that's fine. That's what this is all about, right? So I'm going to share that a little bit, just in case people want to see that. But this is why I have an issue, right? Because Vrabel, that's a coach response. That's good, right? You don't want to stir drama. But I would have gone about it a different way. Of course, I'm not an NFL head coach. I don't think I ever will be, just because I'm not as great as the NFL coaches right now. So I'm going to put that out there before I get roasted. But the Titans moved up. The Titans moved up in the draft to pick up a quarterback named Will Levis. Last year, in the second round, they picked up a quarterback named Malik Willis. So why would the Titans pick up Will Levis, even though they just invested a second-round draft pick in Malik Willis? Because there's uncertainty there. They don't like it. Maybe Ryan Tannehill's leaving. They want a second quarterback, whatever you want to say, right? That's a lot of draft capital for a quarterback. Now, I would have gone about it this way. As of right now, Ryan Tannehill is our starter. He started for our team. He led our team. He is our vet. But I will say that it is going to be a quarterback battle during this offseason. And I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to say, hey, Tannehill's our first, Willis is our second, and Levis is our third. I won't say that. I'm going to say, hey, this is a QB battle. Whoever wants it is going to be the starter, right? But as of right now, our solidified starter is our leader, which is Ryan Tannehill. I mean, I could say that for multiple teams, right? I'm going to pick the Niners again because I'm more familiarized with them. They did that when Jimmy G was there. Hey, who's your starter? It's going to be a quarterback battle. But as of right now, Jimmy G's our guy. He's been our guy.
I definitely see what you're saying, and I somewhat agree with you, AJ. I think it's on a case-by-case it's a case-by-case issue. It really depends because you don't want to say anything, one, to the media that's going to put they're going to start a fire with your fans, and you don't want to do anything because all that stuff gets read by his own players. You don't want to make Malik Willis feel bad and immediately think the Titans are already counting him out of the battle by saying certain things. So I think you can do it two ways. You can do it the way he did it, which makes Malik Willis feel like, hey, I think I think I'm the number 2 guy. I think I have a chance to become the number 1 guy, et cetera, et cetera. And that's going to be the best thing for him moving forward. Or you can do it your way if you think Malik Willis will respond, hey, I have not proven enough to say that I'm the second best, and Vrabel saying that has a little fire underneath me to become better. You got to know who Malik Willis is and how what you say is going to make him react. That's my opinion on it.
I get that, and that's what football should be. Football should be a competitive sport. I didn't play in the highest caliber. I played in high school, right? I played in high school, and they said, hey, quit being so timid, or we're going to have someone else take your position. And, someone else was in a lower grade below me. You got to want it. It's a competitive sport. And Malik Willis, Vincent puts out a good point here. It's going to be fall on Tannehill, but Levis and Willis, they are 2 different type quarterbacks. So what do the Titans want? What do they want? And now let's look at Tannehill. What are the expectations for Tannehill? Reed, tell me right now, what are your expectations for Ryan Tannehill this upcoming season? You could be honest.
To be just good enough.
Good enough for what? For how many wins?
Good enough to win. To not turn over the ball in insane amounts and just put up enough points to win games. That is the expectation.
Why is that your expectation?
Because we know what he is.
Right. But is that your expectation because you think he's going to be the quarterback for the Titans next year?
Yes.
When I say next year, The 2025 season.
2025 season. I don't understand your question anymore.
Do you think Ryan Tannehill is going to be the quarterback for the 2025 season?
Most likely, no. I think he's only has one more year under contract.
Correct. Even with that, even with the play, with all this, input that you have inside the second round, this draft capital that you invested into these two quarterbacks, Ryan Tannehill is not going to be a Tennessee Titan. This is his last season as a Tennessee Titan if they don't trade him. The last, no matter what. They already invested into these guys. Unless these guys are absolute dog water, then they're going to keep on moving on. But even if they are dog water, Tannehill is not going to be there. He's up in age. We've seen that he cannot play in the playoffs. He had, 4 turnovers 2 years ago?
35?
Yes.
Christ.
Yes, that's what I am saying. Yeah, he's a vet. He has experience. He could teach these guys something, right? But what is his limit? Ryan Tannehill hasn't had the greatest career in the NFL. He hasn't. And I like Ryan Tannehill. He's a Texas guy. But what are the expectations with the Tennessee Titans and Ryan Tannehill? It's a lot different from the Titans and Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry is, top 5 running back in the league. But how much longer are they going to have him for? One more season? What are they going to do? What are your expectations? Let's invest into these two other guys. Let's figure out what type of system we want. We can't run a Will Levis type system anymore because, hey, in 2 seasons, we're not going to have a running back that we could just hand off and every problem solved, right? So do we want to go to the Malik Willis part where Malik is, a dual threat? Or do you want to stick with Levis, who is a pocket presence, but could also make plays with his legs if needed, absolutely needed to? So that's why I'm saying, yeah, as of right now, Tannehill is our starter. He'll start at least half the season, right, without any uncertainty. But who is going to be that next guy up? That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a competition. I'm not going to say, Malik Willis and Tannehill have a chance to become the quarterback 1 and Will Levis will be quarterback 3. Nah, dude. Hey, let's go, man. Let's compete out there. Who wants it more? We are a struggling franchise. We let go of our best wide receiver last year for a guy named Treylon Burks who didn't pan out, who hasn't proven anything. We invested into a wide receiver named Robert Woods because he had a great season over there with LA. That didn't turn out to anything. We're on our last year with Derrick Henry. Why do we keep him? Do we really think that we're going to make it to the Super Bowl? You guys might not even make it to the playoffs. The Jaguars are going so hot. They got a lot of momentum going on. So what are the expectations for the Tennessee Titans? With you, by saying that, you're being timid. Sorry, Vrabel, I like you as a coach, but you are being very timid. You got to go out there. You're like, hey, this is a competition. We are rebuilding. Who wants it? Who wants to be the franchise quarterback for this organization that we're going to make into a winning organization? That's what I was expecting. Oh, I kind of went off there a little bit. But.
All right. Did we read this comment already?
Mm-mm.
All right. Vincent said, takes away production from Henry while they've still got him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, AJ. You got to look towards the future, etc. I think the best thing, in my opinion, is start Ryan Tannehill beginning of the season. He's your quarterback number 1, and see how things go from there. If you want to bench him later on, whatever. But at the end of the day, he's a huge cap hit against the Titans this year, and you can't just have a $36 million cap hit and just move away from him. And yeah, make it a competition, but don't say that to the media. You got to control the media. You got to control your perception. You got to control your fans.
Why not?
You don't. In my opinion, you do not want a situation like where the Jets or the Patriots had. In my opinion, you don't want while Mac Jones is out on the field for everybody to be chanting Bailey Zappi. You don't want when Zach Wilson is out on the field, they're chanting whatever that other dude's name is. I couldn't even remember. He was like
Mike White.
Their 4th string. No. They chanted Mike White and the guy behind Mike White.
Joe Flacco.
The other guy behind Joe Flacco.
Oh.
Yeah, they were chanting that guy while Zach Wilson was on the field. You don't want to stir all this stuff up, in my opinion, with the fans. This is me just trying to think of a GM, as a coach, as running an organization. You got to control the media. You got to control the fans, the perception of you. Yes, you kind of want. you kind of want to start it up a little bit something in the locker room a little bit. I've never been a fan of that. I think when you do a quarterback competition, sometimes it works out where one guy ends up winning and that's the guy you move forward with. But also I feel like when you do a quarterback competition, it divides the locker room. Half the team thinks, hey, I think this guy should be our guy. And then the other half of the locker room thinks, hey, this is our guy. And then you make a decision and it's going to upset people. I don't think it's the most healthiest thing. Can you come out with the best quarterback doing that? Yes, but I don't think it's the most healthiest thing for the locker room.
Can you avoid that? Really, no. It's all about the culture that you build, inside that organization. And as far as fans and media, they're going to talk about this no matter what. Reed, you didn't have to go through this for a good while.
Yes, very true.
Because you had Aaron Rodgers. But I've been going through this for quite some time. And it doesn't matter. You could love the team, but people are always going to have their opinions. Oh, we want Jimmy G. We want Trey Lance. Now we got Brock Purdy. Who is it going to be? It's fan base divided. Now, in the locker room, you can ask any wide receiver. You can ask any, cornerback. You can ask Fred Warner, the linebacker. Hey, who do you want to be the quarterback? They're never going to pick one. It's all about the culture and tradition that they build. It's on the head coach. So Vrabel, I feel like he is losing that locker room. Because you look at Vrabel, you look at MCDC, I see them as two very similar coaches and two very similar coaching styles. Not anymore. MCDC will be out here like, hey, it's a competition, man. We got to do this. It's all about grit. Who wants it more? Everyone loved Jamal Williams. Everyone loved him. Everyone liked Swift. They're both gone. But you know what? NFL is a business. This is the culture. We want the baddest dudes out there. So let's go. That's just me. That's coming from me. And I feel like you just can't avoid that from the media. You can't avoid that from the fans. It's going to happen no matter what.
All right. Vincent says, if you have a quarterback competition, it's when you know your quarterback is ready to compete at the NFL level. RN, Malik didn't have it in 2022 season, and I don't know if Will Levis is it either. I think you can have a sort of competition in practice as you get ready for the season, etc. But I still kind of stand by what I say. A quarterback competition is not the healthiest thing for your locker room. Vincent says, like when no one knew how Geno was going to do, so people really thought Drew Lock was it. We never said that. Me and AJ were Geno all the way, right, AJ?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yep, we knew.
Dude, this guy's high. He's like Antonio Brown.
Don't know what he's talking about. Nobody was saying Drew Lock.
Who's Drew Lock? Do you know who Drew Lock is?
Nope.
No. Mm-mm.
He was never in the picture. I just fired up Geno. You have to know your players before you announce a competition.
And that's fine. I mean, they have to know Will Levis. They invested this much into him. They moved up in the draft into him. Last year, they got Malik Willis in the round 2. So that's different, right? Vincent, they got Geno Smith from a team. They got Drew Lock from a team. These guys, they studied them their whole college career. They know what they have. Of course, we don't know how they're going to transition to the NFL, but you go out there and you just say, hey, Ryan Tannehill, he's been our leader. He's going to lead us into the 2024 season. As far as the other quarterbacks, we've seen what Malik Willis could do. We were very impressed. We know he has a lot of potential to unlock, and we're very excited about Will Levis. It's going to be a QB battle. Can't wait to see what happens. We have a lot of high hopes for every single guy out there, and we know the locker room is very excited to have him. That's how you say it. Right? You compliment these guys. They're ready to go. Hey, it's a healthy competition because at the end of the day, they're all on the same team. The first thing that Brock Purdy complimented, hey, who was your biggest friend in the locker room? As far as teammates. First person he said, Trey Lance. Next person, Jimmy G. The following person, George Kittle. These guys, they understand, hey, it's a business. It's not his fault that he got drafted by the team that I'm on. It's not his fault that he beat me out in practice. I just need to get better. It's all about the culture that you build in the locker room. And, compliments to Seahawks too. I'm not going to say this too often, but compliments to them for welcoming Geno Smith, allowing him to feel comfortable, be himself, and run the system that he is good at. So good for them. And hopefully the Tennessee Titans could do something similar to that.
Yeah, definitely. I really hope they're able to do something like that. But it's not easy to create that type of culture. Maybe they once had it 3 or 4 years ago when they were one of the best teams in the NFL. I don't think they have that type of culture now. And it's hard to think to get back once you lose it. What the Niners, the Seahawks, I think the Packers have a good culture, but we're a young team now, so you got to rebuild that culture. I think they've all had really great cultures where you're able to, dang, Vincent says to clip that. You just complimented the Seahawks.
Clip it, dude. It's on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed.
There you go. But yeah, I think it's not an easy thing to do. Hopefully it works out for them and they get the Nets' best quarterback moving forward, whether that's Malik Willis or that's Will Levis. I think it's maybe potentially more Will Levis if he pans out correctly. But yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Nice. I mean, other than that, I mean, those are some pretty big shockers. I know a lot has happened during the NFL draft. So if y'all like this, make sure y'all hit a thumbs up on the video. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. I believe we are 16 subscribers away from giving out a huge giveaway to one of you lucky subscribers. Remember, you have to be subscribed, or you could just follow us on TikTok. If you do both, it'll be even better. It'll better your chances. But Reed, do you have anything else? Do you have anything else to add here?
The only other thing that I would want to talk about is Jordan Love's 5th-year option going to get picked up?
Ooh,
that's the biggest things coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow is the deadline.
I guess we got a video to make for Wednesday.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. So appreciate you guys for being here. Hopefully you guys had a great time during the NFL draft. I know we did, but we're looking forward to this season coming up. If you have any more questions, please follow us on Discord. Is in our banner. Hit that little icon there and it automatically invites you into our Discord where we could talk one-on-one or all three of us, or you could just talk with us voice chat. Give us some video ideas. We're there for everything. So thank you all so much for tuning in live. And until next time, keep on grinding.